Mark Mack on the show. What up, dog?
Yo, what's going on?
That
Let's
intro is
go.
decent, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I thought most people just add that in the editing stage instead of making the guest sit through it. But okay.
Well, that's what we gotta
So hey,
do.
did
We're
you have?
learning this. Let me see. Let me get myself. Are you tuned in?
I'm tuned in.
All
What does
right,
that
all
mean?
right.
What do you mean?
To connect themselves.
Oh yeah, not yet. Hold on.
All right. So let me get my one up and running. I've been having the weirdest things going on with my AirPods for some reason. So, what list are you going to be calling today?
Well, you know what I was gonna say to you, bro. Honestly, I was gonna say, why don't you give me a list? Hold on.
Press 1.
I was gonna say.
Agent login. Please enter your
I was gonna say, if you give me a
Please
list
enter your password followed by
of something, I will call the same account, not the same account,
thank you. User
but I'll
logged in.
call and I'll pitch sales driven. If you just feed me a list and I'll dump it into my connect and sell, or I'll dial it manually and I'll just call on behalf of sales driven. Why not?
We can do that. Well, I'm going to have to prepare that list for you.
Well, just give me the list. Oh, all right.
I'd have to prepare it because what I did is I downloaded a list right now.
Okay.
But do you have a list ready?
No, I have my own lists. Yeah, of course. But
All right. Well, what I'll do is then on the next session, I will get you a list and then you can hit up for sales driven too and just feel the vibe of
yeah,
so many meetings, right?
thinking that like then it could be a comparison, like I'm pitching the same stuff as you, so that was the biggest thing about when we were doing the cold call knockouts. That was weird, like to say, oh, this person versus this person, because there's totally different companies, totally different verticals, ICPs, and so on. So is it really fair, right? Like everybody should be calling the
Yeah.
same kind of cut. The premise behind the contest, essentially. But like this, we don't have to do it. But I'm just saying in general, like to get that way, that would be the real, like, kind of, if you were battling head to head. Yeah. Because how could you compare? Like, for example, I have loaded up here. You'll see I have, and it's off and running too. Like maybe a product that I could probably book a few meetings easier than another project I'm working on, right? So I mean, some people in those contests, like I didn't know, like I wasn't sure, like when we set that up, like for example, like what's the name, Gabrielle and Gong, right? She was calling a list of people, and her opening line was, I see that you've engaged with our content.
Yeah, so I didn't think
So,
that was fair. Even if she is listening right now, I didn't think that was fair because there's an inbound leads. So of
well,
course,
no, it's just a smooth. It's just a softer opener, right? It's
of course.
a warmer opener that you can get them. Whereas if I was on that and calling cold, nobody knows me, has never heard of my company, it's a little bit different, right? So the beginning of the conversation is different. Getting the meeting is still the same. It's whether there's relevance and timing and that, then it's going to happen. If that's not there, it doesn't really matter how you open the call.
I agree. I'm going to push go. So just because in case we are on this US
Let's do it.
downer, let's see what happens.
I just thought you'd get a kick.
That's interesting. No, sorry, but on that it is interesting because fresh cold is definitely different.
Of course.
I believe
Well,
it's so much.
You could always say, "Hey, did you get my email I sent you?" Oh no, okay. Well, let me tell you why I'm calling. Like, you can open that way anyway.
So what's your methodology going to be today? Is it going to be the Mark Max sweet spot, or what are we going to do?
Well, I've got a couple of, like, if I'm using Connect and Sell, I only have a couple of projects, like two of the projects that I've been working on, the two companies I'm calling for, I have in there. And then the third one that I'm working on, which has been very successful through emails and phone, has been manual dials because I don't have enough. I only have 70 companies, and there's several people within those companies. So I'm just using a Google Sheet to go through. Like, when I want to call them, I'll just dial it manually because I can't load it up into Connect and stuff. If I did, it would be calling the same company over and over again, you know?
Nice.
And so not all direct dials. Some of them have just main operators where I have to ask for the person. So I do some of that, but I have Connect and Sell loaded for my engineering companies. So I'm calling on mechanical engineering firms, and I'm trying to get them interested in my ionization product, which helps clean the air, you know. So these guys are the ones that specify product for large jobs. So these are very long sales cycle.
Okay.
Starts with the presentation, starts with working with them on a project to get on a specification for the project, and then you get installed. So it could be anywhere from like a 2-month thing to a 2-year thing, frankly. Depends on the project, depends on the client. But the first goal is to just get in there and educate them about the product. And I do that simply through like setting up presentation or setting up a demo like other tech salespeople would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who might be watching.
What do you say is on the scale of 1 to 10, the difficulty of booking meetings with engineers? Because I know that that's different from speaking to a sales director. Some cases, I would say it's a lot more difficult because they're not so prone to conversation. They just want to be in their own world, right? So how do you flip that script for them to start engaging with you? What do you think works so well for you?
Yeah, so I just go right at it. I'm like, hey, you know, are you in charge of mechanical engineering? Yes, great. So you get involved in writing the specifications for the firm? Yes, I do. Great. So I work with an bipolar ionization company. We manufacture this product. Are you guys seeing any kind of requests or a job require this type of solution? Yes, no, maybe, some. Oh, okay, great. Have you ever had anybody talk to you guys about this kind of ionization? No, we've just doing our own homework. Great. Well, let me do this. You know, I could set up a presentation for you and your team, 30 minutes next week at 2. And this way we could talk about all the different solutions that are available to you. How does that sound? Yeah, so something like that.
That sounds really good. What do you think about the Townsend framework? I came across that script a few days ago. It's called the Townsend framework, and it's literally, hey, I'm calling to set up a meeting with you. Like, what the hell is going on here? And the pattern interrupt is to say, well, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm Shane. I'm from this company. So I think one thing I'm going to do is maybe do a poll and see what kind of frameworks are most favored across the industry. Sandler, cold calling, Townsend framework, breakthrough script, or how are you? And kind of run a poll and see what outbound.
Julia just launched did you see that new site? Julia Nimchimsky's site, the one that Salesborgs is like on. It's a site that's like a methodology website, like sharing all the methodologies. Justin had started getting that going with her. I forget her name. I forget what it's called, but yeah, you know, look, I think it's different for everybody. Everybody has their own thing, you know. Like I just got on the line. I was just talking, one of my, you know, who I was coaching earlier, this guy, Chad, he's a benefits consultant. He's calling on CFOs. And so I'm like, that's a tough prospect, a CFO. There's a
Mhm.
number of different things about them that are weird, right? But you can get through to them, right? And I think it's like a matter of like he was doing the permissive ask, you know, hey, can I have 30 seconds? You know, this is a cold call, but if I could have 30 seconds to tell you why I'm calling, then you can decide at that point whether or not you want to continue the conversation. And he got through a couple of those pitches. One woman was like, no, click. I was like, he's like, what do you do in that case? I'm like, go on to the next call. I don't know. Like, what do you do? Like, yeah, I said call her back. I actually instructed him to call her right back and pretend like he got disconnected.
Yeah.
But he did exactly what I typically do, which is I'll disposition like busy call back later and just set it for next week or 2 days from now or something like that. Because they're going to, somebody who hangs up that fast isn't going to remember they spoke to you.
No, because they're so busy.
Yeah. I like the permissive ask. I've been using that. Hey, you don't know me, but, you know, if I can have 20 seconds of your time, I'll make it painless, is what I say.
Mhm.
And they go, okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think just for me, it's just that brutal honesty that gets me and my personality into the conversation. And I think that's what separates a lot of people is when they can like literally let their personality be their script in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely one thing, and that's what buys people into different conversations. Because, like I said, everybody is so different in their own different ways. And then if you can like listen to that tonality as they answer the phone, hello, okay, hello.
Mirroring, yeah, you talk about mirroring. Look, Sandler. The thing is, the funny thing about methodology breakdowns and that kind of thing. Like I was on a call, I was doing those live cold calls in the Discord a few weeks ago or whatever, a few months ago. And I was handling the call, handling the objection, stuff like that. And then at the end of the call, when I hung up, one of the people that were watching, they came on the phone and if she's watching, this is no insult to any of these people, but the kid said to me, was that Braun Holland? He said to me, like their methodology, like whatever I was employing. And I'm like, Braun Holland? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, first of all, it was Mark Mack. That's all I can say, right? It wasn't Braun. I was like, dude, I've been using this method. Beck Holland was even born. So like, what do you mean? Is it Braun Holland? You know, Sandler is the base, is the root of every.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, everything. So many things about Sandler are still relevant today. I took Sandler back in 97, 96, 97, something like that. And the thing is I say it's me. I don't think like, I don't go like, oh, I'm going to right now, or I'm going to Bant, or I'm going to Sandler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that way, right? I mean, if you have to as a young sales rep because you just learned it, okay, makes sense. It just comes out natural for me. So when somebody says, oh, is that Sandler? I'm like, maybe, probably, right? Because if you really look across everybody's methodology, right? I don't really think that anybody anywhere really has a very distinct methodology, right? From the other. Because what we're all trying to do, and I'm speaking to everybody here, what we're all trying to do is get into a conversation that'll have some kind of outcome or next step. Outcome could be, I'm not interested. Next step's going to be call you back in 6 months. Mm-hmm. It's about getting on the same page, building rapport, right? That initial conversation. I've heard so many reps go, oh, you got to have a relationship. Bro, the relationship don't start until they send you a check. Okay? Otherwise, you don't have any relationship with me. You're like a plum on the tree that I'm about to pick. Like, you haven't wrote me a check. There's no relationship. We have rapport. We've had multiple conversations. We have a nice rapport, but we have no business relationship whatsoever yet, right? And we certainly don't have a social relationship because you haven't taken me out for drinks or introduced me to your sister, you know? So the point is make people laugh with your personality, right? and get information, my methodology also involves, and I teach this a lot, it also involves is utilizing anybody who answers the phone for some kind of information. If you have a direct dial, like Connected Cell, if you just have direct dials and all day all you're doing is getting voicemails, maybe you get a call, you get the 6-7 calls, but you're getting voicemails, that's like a waste. Like if every time you run that list and the same voicemails are coming up, what do you think it's going to happen? The next day you run that list, some of those voicemails will disappear and you'll get those people, maybe, right? But you're getting all these voicemails from the same places over and over again. And you can check Connected Cell, give you the report, right? And then you got to say to yourself, why am I just bypassing them? Let me call the main operator. Let me find out who else I could talk to. See, what we tend to do, I hear a lot of this across the Discord, against Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere, RevGenius. Everyone's like calling, they love because they're calling the ICP, they got their direct dial. Oh, I got his direct.
Rob, this is Shane. I'm calling from a company, Sales Driven in London. Look, it is a cold call. I can tell you're driving. You got a moment to chat? I said, I can tell you're driving. This is a cold call, though. So do you want to hang up the phone or do you have a moment to chat? It's in specific relation to Vomo. Vomo, your company? Quick question, just to make sure I don't disturb you ever again if I'm not supposed to be in your arena, but this is Rob Peabody, right? Co-founder and CEO at Vomo. Oh my God, my apologies. Okay then, well, thanks and drive safe. So that guy wasn't even, he goes, I don't even know who that is. Okay. You sure?
It's great though when you can convert some things like that. I mean, he was tough because he was driving, but like you get a wrong number and you can still convert. That's always cool.
Jesus.
So I've got it running. I'll get a call in a sec. Yeah, so that's my thing. It's like I try to make the best of every call. As best as I can, get information, get a referral. Otherwise, like, think about the sales reps out there, Shane, that don't have these tools, right? They spend all day. Maybe they have 9 conversations the whole day, right? If they don't make most of them that get those calls, let's say 50% of those are like, I'm not interested, or you don't have the right guy, or whatever, wrong number. And then they just hang up and they don't do anything with it, right? Or they call up. I love these people who call up, right? They call, is John Smith there? No, he's not available. Okay, when's a better time to reach him? I don't know, you could try back. Okay, bye. What about, hi, is John Smith there? No, he's not available. Okay, is he in today? Or is he out today? Oh, he's out. Oh, okay, great. When's he coming back? Oh, he's actually on vacation. Oh, do you know where he went? Oh, he happened to go to California. Oh shit, I live in California. That's awesome. Great. When's he going to be back? Oh, okay. Hey, let me ask you a question. Like today, I was on the phone with this guy Chad. Right? He's a benefits consultant. He got somebody on the phone. He was looking for somebody else. That person wasn't available. And before he hung up, he said, "Hey, you know what? Let me ask you. You're an employee of whatever tech company, whatever he was calling. How would you rate your benefits package?" Right? Because ultimately he's trying to sell them a new program, right? So he wants to find out. That was one of his questions he would have asked that person if he got him on the phone. But now he's got an employee on the phone, a user, a person that actually is affected by the benefits package, right? And I think that's what we miss sometimes. Like we want to go after the DM, like I have one of my projects right now. The CEO of that company wants me to call CEOs, COOs, CFOs, CTOs, all the C-suite, and get referred down. Well, I believe in that methodology, right? Because when you have that referral, it's really strong. Like, hey, the CEO just told me to call you, whatever. The problem is if you don't get those people on the phone and you can't get the referral, you have to go to those other. You got to go down. So I believe in not only a omni-channel approach. LinkedIn, social, whatever, phone and email. But I also believe in multi-threading, Like, get other people, find out if you're even a viable, if that company is even worth chasing, right? Like, I used to sell furniture to hotels, right? When I call in the main number, I get the front desk, right? That front desk clerk, she may not know anything. She may have only been there 2
Hello, Peter. Peter, you're speaking with Shane. I know that you're busy, but this is a cold call. So, do you want to hang up the phone, or you have a moment to chat? Oh no. So look, I just wanted to see if you're still at Gatsby Digital. You are. Okay, so look, Peter, before you step in that elevator, I wanted to run something by you about a SaaS company that we helped get 200 hours back so they could focus on selling. And they were able to nail their forecast last quarter to within 0.5% of their monthly and quarterly targets. I just wanted to see if that's a conversation that we could have maybe after you get out of the elevator or maybe later on today. Cool. Now, look, just one quick thing before you go. Who is in charge of your outbound sales strategy? Okay, I see. Okay, am I right? Am I right in saying you guys do stocks? I know it's on the LinkedIn website, but it's just to be very clear. You guys work in the financial services industry, stocks and options for new generation of traders. Ah, okay. Okay, cool. No worries, no worries. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time, and I will catch up with you via email probably later on today. Thank you. Bye. So that's an interesting one. They don't sell.
Okay,
Yes.
but for you on the call as a
Yeah.
SDR, I'd say I give you points for getting past the permissive ask.
Yeah.
He gave you the permission. You get, hey Robert, how you doing today?
Good.
Is this Robert Shaw from Hensel Phelps?
It is.
Great. Now, Robert, my name's Mark. I'm with a company called Pure Air. Are you the guy there that would write the specs and do kind of that design work? I see technical services manager. I didn't know if that implied.
No, I go and fix the stuff as they break it.
Excellent. So, is there an engineering or design side to your company? Or?
Yes, but not on our side. So it's on the construction side. We do have a design side, but not on our services side.
I see. So basically, the reason for the call is I'm a manufacturer of a bipolar ionization solution, which is designed for indoor air quality improvement. Not sure if do you guys get involved in anything like that, like UV or BPI?
No.
No. So I may have had you on the wrong list, I guess. My apologies, Rob. I appreciate taking my call. I am a problem solver. I have a very large network of people that I'm connected to. Is there a problem on your plate right now that you just simply can't solve? And maybe I have a friend that might be able to solve it for you.
Not at the moment, no. Actually, I'm doing pretty good right now. So,
Well, as long as you're staying cool, because it's like 98,000 degrees out. I appreciate your time, man. You have a great day.
You do fine.
Actually, that's a wrong contact, right? Incorrect contact. So there you go.
At least you found out what's going on. But now, question on that. So if you have found someone that's worth speaking to, or the account, you've opened up the account, you know what's going on in the account, do you continue to pursue that account based on the information he's given you, or what do you do with that then?
Well, this account is not if I go and look up their website, they're probably not in the business that I'm trying, like the product I'm trying to sell. It sounds like they're more of like a contractor. They probably are more of like a plumber, Hensel Phelps. I have to take a look, but it just wasn't the right company. It's creeped into my list by accident. You know, sometimes when you run these lists, Sales Navigator or otherwise, you're going to get a lot of keywords that overlap, and they're not the right. Like I was calling early learning companies, meaning companies that design and build or sell learning management tools or have like tutoring services or stuff like that. I kept getting investment companies. So I'm like, why am I getting these investment companies, right? Well, it turns out some of these investment companies, some of their investments, the companies that they're working with or invested in, are learning management companies. The thing is they're just this guy, like I remember one guy is on the phone, like literally, like, I don't know if you heard the story about Justin picking up a call. The guy was getting on his boat. This guy was getting on his fucking jet. And he's like, I'm about to get on, well, he's like, I don't know if he's getting on a jet, but he's like, I'm about to get on a plane. What's this regarding? And I'm like, and he goes, that's just a company in my portfolio is what he said. And I was like, oh, okay. So who at the company though would handle the marketing is what I said. And he's like, well, I don't handle that. I go, I know, you're the investor. I'm like, who is your lead guy over there? You know, like, who should I talk to? So I got the referral. So I think it's just that, like, if you get the wrong person, then it's okay. Like with that call that you just had, you found out 4 or 5 questions in that he was not the right guy. Get that question up front. Hey, are you in charge of the inside sales team? Are you in charge of if you found that out earlier, your next immediate question is, great, who is? And then he'll say, well, we don't sell. And then he would have gotten into it. The call would have been shorter, but you would have got to it a lot quicker. I think that, like, you can, like I said, you got to feel every call out, and there's no magic bullet, you know?
It's true. 100% agree. 100% agree. I'm going to give that one, let's give that one a try on the next pickup. Let's see what happens. Who's in charge of your outbound sales strategy?
Yeah. You know, like you're selling
more narrow, and just say who's in charge of sales. What do you think is more engaging?
If their title, which you should know based on the contact, is VP of sales, and you go in and say who's in charge of sales, it's like he's gonna go me, or he's gonna go, well, that's a stupid question. You already know my title.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So you
that's
have
what
to nuance.
Of.
You have to do it's a nuance of that. So it's not like if I'm calling marketing, I'm not gonna say to the director of marketing, are you in charge of marketing? I'm gonna say, who's in charge of e-commerce marketing or e-commerce development? Okay. Oh, well, that's my guy John, but he reports to me. What's this call about? Okay, not a problem. You pitch him, and then he refers you. Even he's like, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a conversation you should be having with my technical director, Mike. Great. May I mention that we spoke? Yeah, absolutely. He reports to me. Perfect. Have a nice day.
Perhaps even just going with like a demand generation script, like who's in charge of demand generation. But some people,
but that's specific. That's very specific. Yeah, that's not marketing.
What's demand generation? I'm like, how the do you not know what demand generation is, and you're in sales? So what do you do then? So let's say if they hit you with that, what's demand generation? Well, shouldn't you know?
Well, I think it's semantics, right? I mean, demand generation, generating demand for your product. I get it. Yeah. I will tell you this though. I've been in building product sales. I've been in furniture sales, which is building product sales. I've been in other sales organizations in different industries. And the very first time I heard the word demand generation was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago when I followed tech salespeople. People in other industries do not use that term. In fact, in the hospitality business, right, they have RevOps. And it's only until recently that they started developing this role inside of hotels. RevOps.
For people who don't know, what? I still don't like, apart from revenue operations, I really, really don't know what the hell RevOps actually means. Like, I'm like, what the? And then people are like, you need to hire RevOps. And I'm like, what the is RevOps? Like,
you're in charge of RevOps. the cross section between sales, marketing, and operations, like day-to-day operation, depending on your business, right? Like if you're running a hotel, it's about getting those rooms rented, right? And then discharged, right? So they can rent them again. So it's the whole full cycle of revenue that's coming in. So revenue ops is not only the day in and day out, but it's also those individuals who are in the rev ops world, are probably being looked at for projections and where are we at, and what do we need to do. So in my old world before, I probably would have called RevOps the chief operating officer. Essentially, wow. I think what's happened, what's interesting to me is, I don't come from the tech sales world. One of the reasons why I hang out with all y'all in the tech sales world starting a couple of years ago was I felt like I could bring some things to the table that might be helpful, because I've been a full life cycle rep my whole career, and I couldn't understand the over segmentation that goes on in this industry. And so I think that's, again, where RevOps comes from. In a sense, it's like we have this COO who could do everything. In a small company with 7 people, it's that guy. Like, for example, at Title, this new company I'm going to be working with next week, this guy James is like, he's the CRO and the COO, right?
Okay.
That's because we don't have more than one person to handle that role. We will, and then we'll have a separate CRO and a COO, but it's the same role, essentially. I think it's the same role, or somewhat of the same role.
Quick question: if I'm doing the time zone filter, and the ones that are checked are the ones that will be called, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm just gonna try to remove.
Hey Sam, how you doing today?
Good.
Sam, my name's Mark, and I'm with a company called Pure Air. I have you as the director of engineering at Pi Architects. Is that still accurate?
It is. I am. Yep.
Excellent. So I'm not sure if you guys are running into this in your neck of the woods, but we manufacture a bipolar ionization solution, for indoor air quality. And I've been obviously communicating with engineers all over the country about UV and BPI and some of the solutions that they're implementing. Are you guys seeing any of that kind of stuff in your neck of the woods?
Sure. Yeah. I've my background is an MEP engineer, although I'm doing mostly business development these days.
Oh, wow.
I've been specifying bipolar ionization for years now, and I think, pre-COVID, and I think that'll continue, even as there's COVID vaccines. So,
you know what, Sam? I think you've got a great head on your shoulders, because I've been trying to convince so many other engineers and end users that it's not really about COVID. It's way more than that. It's about indoor air quality. It's about energy savings. I'm probably preaching to the choir. Have you had an opportunity to take a look at the difference between needle point bipolar and DBD bipolar?
Nope.
Excellent.
Not yet.
Well, I'd like to set up a time that's more convenient for you, and maybe whoever else in your on your team might be interested in, where we could kind of dial into that for 20 minutes. I usually do like an overview of all of the solutions that are out there, kind of like in a CEU format in a way, and then we can dial directly into DBD. How does that sound? You have your calendar handy? Maybe we can get that in the book.
It sounds fine. I just pulled up my calendar. Yeah, if we can keep it to 20 minutes or so, I'll be pretty widely available.
Not a problem.
Do you have times in mind?
Excellent. So I'm looking at, let me see here. I could do, how are you looking for, let's say Thursday, I'm a little booked out next week, Thursday the 29th?
Sure.
Awesome.
I'm on Central Standard Time. So
yes,
what about something like 1 p.m. Central Standard Time?
1 p.m. Central would be 2 p.m. my time. I'm on Eastern. That's fine. Excellent. Okay. Let me just get your email if you don't mind.
I don't. It's sam@piarch.com.
Okay, I'll be sending you an invite. It'll have a Zoom link, so you can join at the time. And we're talking the 29th at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And I'll send you an outline beforehand, and then and just reply to the invite, and we'll be all set. I appreciate your time, Sam.
Excellent.
All right. You
Thanks a lot.
have a good week.
Play. He's got one in the books.
So it's not bad. It's
regular shit.
What's that?
I said that's regular for you.
No, I mean, I normally would have probably asked him more things before pitch the meeting, but I just wanted to hot stamp it for you. Go right after it. I mean, once he said, like, I could just, you know what it is? I've been doing this a long time, so I think like one of the things that makes me laugh is tools like Gong and Chorus, because it's trying to analyze the person on the other side, what they're saying, how they're saying it. And maybe in some cases, some of the new technology will deliver a screenshot of what you should say and stuff like that, right? I don't think it's fast.
On your call. So let's just say, sorry to interrupt on that, but I'm curious to know, when that happens, like for a connect and sell, does those script boxes, do they pop up on the screen as you're call calling?
If it's like in the follow-up teleprompter, like, well, that's the follow-up, but you can have it set up so that each thing, Connect and Sell has that ability. You could set it up where, like, you see where it says, oh, you can't see it, right? But when the box opens up, there's a box on the right that you could populate while you're talking to the person. But this is the same box that actually could be populated prior to it with your pitch, I think.
Yeah, for some reason though, on my one, it
but I don't have it set.
One line, it just does one big line, which I don't know if I can. Maybe I need to rejig my settings.
Yeah, just talk to Jerry. I always call him and ask him.
Yeah,
like when it's not connecting, I always like WhatsApp him and I'll be like, "Is something wrong?" He's like, "No." Something wrong with you, he says. There's something wrong with you. Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Well, this technology though, it does make, like, can you imagine, like, I got disconnected from my last list while you were on the phone, but went through almost 119 dials already, and we've been on the phone for 37 minutes. Can you imagine what that would be like all day and not getting through to no one?
No, actually, I can, because I've done it. But
I use
yeah. So I think what's really cool is that, especially if you look at the report at the end, like let's say you do 200 dials and you got 115 voicemails. Let's say for argument's sake, right? I figured this out. 115 voicemails. If you were to manually dial and go through the phone tree and then get that voicemail, and I'm talking not even leaving a voicemail, right? Just getting the voicemail. You're talking 3 minutes it takes, roughly. Anywhere from a little bit before 3 minutes, a little bit after 3 minutes. And if you leave the message, maybe 3.5 minutes, but it's 3 minutes. And if you multiply that by 100, that's 600 minutes. 3 minutes times 100 voicemails, right, is 300 minutes. That's 6 hours or 5 hours. That's 5 hours of voicemails that you did in an hour, right? You can never call that many and hit that many voicemails and have a successful day. It's just no way. And if you drop the voicemail, like the pre-recorded voicemail, now you've made 75, 110 touches, right? Whether they call you back or not, it doesn't matter. But you left a voicemail because it's part of your sequence. You're going to email them. You're going to call them. You're going to email. So it's going to work. It's part of it. Or the voicemail message maybe is a pointer to your email. So, hey, check out, you don't have to call me back. Check out my email, whatever. But I think it's just massive power to have in your hands.
Dude. It's literally like having a Ferrari engine on, like a V12 engine in your computer.
I said the other day, it's like having a howitzer. Like you're just like fucking all over the place with it, right? It's fun. I think I would not, like, I told Jerry this a couple of weeks ago on the chat. I'm like, I don't even like to make calls without it.
Same here. Same here, man. I wouldn't, like, right now I wouldn't. I don't think I would if I didn't have this luxury of having this weapon, as they
It
say.
is.
Last time I said tool, I like tools are for gardeners. Stop saying that. So
I like how Jerry put it, weapon of mass conversation.
yeah, it's true though. It's actually true. It really does speed up your life. But one thing that we are realizing very, very quickly is this whole situation of your list is your strategy. Like the list is the strategy. Like we've done it a few times. When we first started, we built lists. Like I think we had 2,000 contacts split between 4 people, 70 conversations, 7 meetings booked, 35 follow-ups in 1 3-hour session, which is like incredible. Apparently, it was like a record-breaking session. And I think Refract, though, what was it? Refract and the next guys, they've done some serious figures on there too. But that was enough in itself to just be like, why would we ever go back? Why would we?
Yeah,
ever
it's
go
hard.
back?
It's hard for me. Like I have this other campaign, right, with this generic like spreadsheet list that I'm working. He doesn't have the client doesn't have a CRM or anything, so I'm just doing it on a spreadsheet. But I couldn't even put it in the Connect and Sell. Like it's just not ready for it. Like it's too little. Like it would just rip through them all, and I'd be done in a minute. And I'd rather just call like direct. And what I'm doing with that, it's very strategic, right? Where looking at who. So I think one of the interesting things and what's powerful about Connect and Sell also for those who are listening is that it really gives you an opportunity to get to a lot of people to maybe if you're in the process of trying to figure out if there's a product market fit, it's the only thing you should be using, because there's like you have to get to as many people. You got to figure out whether or not this is a viable product to sell, and you can't do that with a manual. Like you need Connect, so you need Orem, you need something like that to really get through as many. Otherwise, you're going to spend 6 months trying to figure it out. Whereas we could spend 6 weeks, you and I, and figure out whether or not Joe Schmo has a product that he can actually sell, because we'll have 400 conversations in those 6 weeks that nobody else can do.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, and that's what I think I'm so drawn towards is like people who are in sales. Me and you are living proof. They want to speak, like they want to have conversations. They want to open their mouths, and if you're in sales and you are not doing that, it just eats away at you. It eats away at you. You feel like demoralized. You feel like you're not getting anywhere, and this enables that life to get back into you. Like it helps you get life back into your sales environment, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? Because that's what it was for me. Like I loved the attention when I was on the sales floor and I was pitching on the phone. Like there would be times where the whole floor would stop and just be like, "He's about to close. He's about to close. He's about to close." And I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And then when you get home, well, March 2020, when I got sent home, I'm just sitting there like, I bought Xbox, I bought PS, I bought a chessboard. All that shit went to the fucking gutter. Like within 6 months, I was like, you know what? Let me start a business. And that's how we built Sales Driven. We were so bored. We were like, let's just build a business. And it was the best decision we ever made. Absolute best decision we ever made.
Well, I think, the other thing that's interesting when you talk about product market fit, I mean, you're doing a deed, if you will, that there's a lot of companies out there that don't know how to do it. They don't know how to talk on the phone. They don't know how to get customers to engage. They don't, I still believe it's an omni-channel, but it's not just the phone. It's a combination of the phone and email and other things. I think you just got there. Thank God, I said the other day to somebody else that there are this many people, these many founders, if you will, out there who don't know what they're doing. that
Mhm.
need companies like Sales Driven, that need products like Connect and Sell that could help them, or hire a Sales Driven who already has the tools and you don't need to onboard. I think the greatest thing about outsourced sales is the idea that, look, you know how many people out there go through hiring, recruiting, paying fees and this and that, and then they train, they onboard, they train, they manage, and then they lose the person. You start from scratch.
I was
Right.
that person.
You got 6 months in and now you're back to the beginning. Well, you hire a consulting company, right? Now, granted, if they don't produce for you, you're in the same boat. Now you're out probably even more money. But like, if you get ones who know, who can convert and could work for you or could do it, then it's so much more valuable than trying to go through that whole recruiting process. Now, I get it. People want to hire and promote and build a company and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate that. I've been part of those organizations. Don't get me wrong. But, like I was talking to a girl the other day. I'll not mention the name of the company, but they're looking for SDRs. She's looking to build an SDR team. But I had asked her, I said, so have you ever thought about outsourcing? And her response was good. Her response basically was like, look, yeah, we thought about it, but we're really looking to develop the SDR role into account management role. The way our business is structured, it requires that support moving forward. So it just makes sense for us to hire internally. I said, okay, no problem. You got a good answer there. I got a good answer. Like there are reasons why people don't do it, but it is definitely a good thing. The conversation we were having on the WhatsApp channel, I agreed with the fact that if you don't have anything, like hiring an outsourced company and not being able to give them anything like use cases or any kind of data, it's
a waste. It's actually a waste. Like we've had plenty of learning lessons since our inception, and we had one conversation with a client today, and they were just like, we love working with you because I know I'm safe at the end of every month and at the beginning of every month, even if my team gets sick or want to take time off. I know I will consistently hit my number.
Hello, Hanif? Hanif? Hello, Hanif? Are you there? I lost him. I guess I lost him.
What?
Hello? Hanif, can you hear me?
What? Oh, no, I'm picking it up.
Oh, he hung up.
We're back. This is decent. Oh, we got some decent view. Hey, yes. What is happening, Antoine? Antoine, reply and I'll get you in the conversation. Oh, he just jumped out. Where did he go? What happened there, man? What are you trying to do?
I didn't do nothing.
Houdini, you playing Houdini on the Connect and Sell session?
No. Antoine works for you, doesn't he?
No, Antoine's my business partner. He's my co-founder. So me and him started the business together.
Yeah, I think, again, like I was saying, I just think that like it's a good source like you could use, especially if there's talent there, and they can produce, I'll be honest. I again, no matter who you are or how good you are, if there's no relevance and the timing is off, it don't matter how good you are.
Exactly, 100%, absolutely 100%.
But I go into each call with a couple of thoughts. Like I said, I give myself credit or points, if you will, and everybody here can use this. When I go in, I call in. If I use the permissive ask and they say yes, I give myself a point. If I get to then I do the pitch, and if they don't say no and hang up right away, I'm like, give myself another point, and then I get into it with them. And if I do a discovery where I find out a little bit about their business, what they're using, what they're not using, how they're operating, how they're not operating, whatever it is, that's business intelligence. I told you this. I give myself 3 points. If they're not the right person and they refer me to somebody else internally, that's 2 points, right? And so why do you give yourself points for that? You're just going to call the guy right away. I say, yeah, but if I don't get him, at least I've been referred. So it's a worthy outcome for that call. If I get into the call with somebody, we're going back and forth, question, answer, whatever. And then all of a sudden they're just like, we're not interested. I don't want to set up a meeting. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, you seem to have a good conversation here. You have a big network. You're a CEO, CFO, CTO, whatever you are. Tell me, do you know anybody right now who would actually benefit from this conversation as well? Yes, no. If you get that referral, that external referral, it's monstrous, right? That's worth 4 points to me. And if you get the meeting, it's 5 points. If you want to close a deal, it's 10 points. Have a fucking cupcake on me, whatever. But like, it's a way for, if there's anybody listening to this that's new to sales or young in sales, I'm going to tell you, do this. Gamify your calls, because it sucks to hang up a day, hang your hat up for the day and think, I didn't get any meetings. It sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that. I never say that. I hang up and I say, you know what? I didn't get any meetings today, but I got 3 referrals. One was external. I got a tremendous amount of business intelligence from the companies that I spoke to. I actually learned a little bit more about how I should be pitch or whatever. And tomorrow's going to be a fucking great day. It was a good day. I got 26 points. I didn't get any meetings, but I got 26 points. I'm going to have a great tomorrow or a great Wednesday, whatever the day of the week it is. And so if you think about it that way and you gamify it that way, I guarantee you'll never have a bad day. In fact, what's going to happen is you'll have what used to look like a bad day and it's just some points. The next day, maybe it's just some points. But then all that's going to come to fruition, right? Next, the third day, you're going to have 3 meetings set up. You're going to have 4 referrals, and what it does is it builds momentum and it builds self-confidence, and you need that, right? Otherwise, every sales rep would fall into the abyss, because they just can't handle it. There's only so much emotional quotient you could have, right?
True.
Where at the end of the day, you're like, fuck, I didn't get a meeting. I didn't get a meeting yesterday. I didn't get a meeting tomorrow. And then now all of a sudden, the things that go through your head are like, what's my boss thinking? Well, oh my God, he called me in for a meeting tomorrow, right? Well, you should have been calling him a day ago when you went 2 days without setting up a meeting to try to figure out maybe if you need help. So self-awareness is always important. Figure out when you need to help. But I think that's a methodology I've employed and shared with other people that have helped them to get over that. Don't get in a hole. You shouldn't be in a sales hole. You shouldn't be in a slump. You're going to be in a slump if you don't close deals. I get that. But I mean, you should always make the best of your day and the best of every call. I try to get as much information as I can.
I agree with that 100%. And this is what I truly believe this, that since people have transitioned into this working from home environment, people need bosses, founders, business owners, coaches, managers. They need to find ways to help spark that movement in people's minds, because an idle mind is a dangerous mind, number one. That's how people go into people always talk about this mental health stuff. There is going to be a huge mental health crisis happening because depression is going to kick in, loneliness is going to kick in, isolation will kick in. When that isolation happens, that's when they revert to drugs, alcohol, or different vices to continue feeling okay, because that external gratification is not there anymore for someone to say, hey, look, I heard that. Good job.
Right.
Hey, you had a good day today. I'm glad you busted it. You worked it out. People are going to get accustomed to this. They think that everything will just be the same. Everything's going to be okay. But that is not the way it's going.
No.
It's changed.
And if anybody wants to come on here and make calls with us, with you or with me or anytime, man, this is what it's about. It's about having maybe that feedback or that sounding board to say, hey, you did a good job, or you didn't do a good job, or, you could do this a little bit better, or fantastic, kudos, attaboy, whatever the words you're going to use.
Inspire,
right. You're absolutely right.
Inspire instead of those people who just dog you out. Like, I've had people who try to dog me out. One time he tried to tell me I was an idiot. It was one of my managers. And I flipped.
So this product, right, that I'm talking about today, Pure Air, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, right? We have a interim CEO, and then he's interfacing with the two owners of the company. Now, one of the owners is like this guy, Alonzo, something or other. He literally drives around in a Lamborghini. Yep. And so he has 4 or 5 other businesses besides this one. So he's not really paying attention to this one. He's not investing any money in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he comes in once every couple of weeks and says his piece. And we think, me and this guy Scott, we're like, what is he doing? You know? What's up, Antoine?
Mark Mack.
What up, kid?
What's happening?
So wait, let me finish this real quick. And so he says to my friend Scott, like to the CEO Scott, right, who's actually kind of a player coach, if you will, like he's still selling and he's the CEO, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he says to Scott, he goes, Scott, how come you haven't sold any units, like single units, right? Like I'm trying to sell multiple units, right? But you could go out on the street and sell a single unit to a hotel or not a hotel. I mean, like to a supermarket or a chiropractor or something like that. So he's like, hey man, why are you guys having so much problems? Why don't you just, all you got to do is go out on the street, walk into the supermarket and get the owner and tell them this is going to help you bring more clients in and sell the product. And so Scott is telling me this story that this guy was saying this to him. This is the owner of our company. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you know what I would have said to him? Because Scott just kind of folded and walked away. I said to him, you know what you should have said? You said, great. That sounds like it could work. Why don't you come out with me? Let's go out on the calls. Let's go ride together, right? And make him prove it to you, like, or show him it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Like I don't like founders or directors or owners or anybody telling me that it should be easy or why can't you do it until they get and do it themselves. If you go to Shark Tank, if you ever watched Shark Tank on TV, guess what? If you're a founder and you go on that show,
Harry? Harry, you're speaking with Shane. I can tell you're a little bit alarmed. Look, it is a cold call, so feel free to hang up the phone, or if you have got about 25 seconds, I'll tell you why I'm calling. Of course. What other kind of calls do you get at 7, 8 o'clock at night telling you, hey, this is a cold call. I want to speak to you about business? Okay, so look, I've come across your company, and I think that what we are doing, we're confident that we can help you. We gave a SaaS company, over 200 hours back for their account executives and their business development team to focus on more selling, which helped them nail their forecast last quarter. So right now, if I'm right, you are still the CMO at GigaTrust. Is that right? Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you. Well, you're the first person today that I got a chance to speak to, so I'm happy you like my approach, and you're not too bad yourself. So hopefully I'll get a chance to speak with your cousin then in the near future. But thank you for today, man. I really do appreciate it. All right. No, I think I'll leave it at that then. Thank you so much, Harry. Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye. Again, that was a strange one. That guy, he said, yeah, you know, that's my cousin. He's my first cousin. He's actually left the business now, so he's no longer there. So you could try calling him, but I really like your approach, so give him a shot. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Antoine, I think we've got to have a word with some people about these contacts.
Yeah. Yeah, the list is the strategy, so it's got to be on point.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the list is wrong, look, I'll tell you, like I have one of the accounts I was working for a little while is a marketing guy, right? And he wants me to sell his digital advertising services and such. And so he gives me this list, and it's like I said, it's supposed to be like early learning or learning management tools, and it's not, right? And I'm getting all these different kinds of people. And so I think with that type of product, it's applicable to almost every industry and every business. So you got to just pivot. But it is hard. Like once you get off on this road, hey, this is what we do, blah, 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 blah. Then it's like, I'm not really the guy. It's hard to pivot from there, right? Hey, Karen, how you doing today? Why am I not getting...
Hello?
Hello, Karen Converse?
Yes.
Hey, you doing, Karen? My name's Mark. I'm with a company called Pure Air. Are you still the operations manager at the historic Inn and Organic Farm? That's weird.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. I don't know if you caught on my list by accident or not, but I actually work for a company that manufactures a ionization solution. It's for indoor air quality. I don't know if you have over there employed any, advanced technologies like UV light or ionization to protect your guests or your product. I work with a number of...
No, we don't.
I work with other farms, actually. It's weird. I just started working with a farm, a tomato packing farm and plant in Kentucky. They get a lot of mold production when they pack everything. So we've been able to help people curb or mitigate the risk of mold, the risk of COVID, of course, with their indoor air. Is the facility that you guys manage or have, is that... It says historic inn, so is it like like almost like a hotel? Like, do you guys have guests that stay overnight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have 46 rooms, we have a spa, we have a farm-to-table restaurant, we have a retail store, we have manufacturing and wholesale distribution. Most of our crop is lavender.
Oh, I love lavender. My wife, she just planted a bunch that like are overgrown and has the flowers now. I think that's so cool. I love this.
So you just got to trim that back soon, and then it'll spike every year.
Yeah, I love the smell.
And so then we take that oil and then we distill it for our products that we manufacture.
So within the manufacturing process area, do you have trouble with the air quality at all? Do you have mold issues? Do you have cross-pollination going on at all?
No. Mold is probably the least worrisome thing. Typically in New Mexico, except for right now we have monsoons, but typically we're less than 10% humidity.
Oh, okay.
So mold is definitely not an issue.
What, if any, is the issue? What's like your biggest problem that you have day in, day out?
Honestly, it's just capacity. We're outgrowing our manufacturing capacity.
Oh. So like if I knew a real estate agent that focuses on industrial spaces, that would be helpful?
No, it would be more money for more automated equipment.
Oh, okay. So now I'm thinking about a friend of mine who does leasing, capital finance and leasing. Would that be helpful?
I don't think we can lease right now because we have some grant money from the state. So we're just kind of looking, for very specific equipment because all of our manufacturing in-house is oil-based.
Right.
All our water-based manufacturing we have done with a contract manufacturer here in town.
Oh, I see. Excellent. It's funny you say oil-based versus water-based. I used to be in the paint business many years ago, and it used to always be oil. And then they moved to water-based product, and all my clients were like, "No, we don't want that. We want oil-based." It's whatever. Anyways,
yeah,
totally irrelevant, but just thought I'd throw that out there. Hey, listen, I appreciate that. I don't know anybody really in that business. Unfortunately, I will put the wire out and see, and maybe I'll shoot you an email or something with some information. But again, hey, let me ask you this though. How are you guys doing as far as, coming out of this COVID haze? Do you have like a good census? Like, you have a lot of people staying? Like, what have you seen an increase in that? Or
because we have movie industry here in New Mexico, we have a lot of industry people stay with us. So even when we were restricted by our capacity, it didn't include the long-term guests that are the movie industry.
Oh, I
but
see.
Since we opened up, the state just barely opened up July 1st.
Oh, wow.
We've been running 100% capacity.
Wow.
And our product business actually saw a 20% growth over COVID.
Wow. That's kudos to you. You guys are doing great things. It's good to hear, and I'll keep it on the radar. Tell me something though. Are you doing any digital advertising, like running any ads or anything online? How are you growing new business?
It's all mainly word of mouth.
Okay.
We have a pretty robust Instagram and Facebook presence.
Oh, you do?
But it's just been very organically grown. And then we have a lot of our retail partnerships help grow that as well.
So channels, yeah.
And so.
Okay, yeah, because I actually advise another company in the digital marketing, digital advertising space. They do really wonderful things with blogging and social selling and ads on Google as well as Facebook and Instagram. I don't know if Instagram has ads yet, but or if we're doing Instagram ads. But have you ever considered that stuff? Have you ever considered actually, spending a few bucks? And
I mean, it's on our radar, but we haven't needed to do it yet.
So you know what I'd like to do? Again, like I said, I advise this company called Zev Media. The gentleman who owns the company, his name is Zev Gotkin. Nice young Jewish boy in the marketing space out of New York City. Generally, what he likes to do is do like a strategy call with clients, whether they're looking to hire him or not. He likes to offer some strategies that you may even be able to implement without even hiring him because he's that good of a social seller. Generally, he likes to just do a quick call and see if there might be a fit, just an easy conversation. I'd love to set that up with you. 15 minutes, share some ideas, see if it's something that you might be interested in. If not, no obligations. If you have your calendar handy,
well, shoot me an email first because I would have to send it to our design and marketing department. They would take care of that.
Okay, but would you be on the call yourself or?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we've restructured, so I'm now the director of manufacturing. So.
Okay. If you don't mind giving me your email, I have a pen.
Sure, it's operations@lospoblanos.com.
lospoblanos.com. Excellent. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking my call. I definitely thank you for your time, and you have a lovely day. Appreciate your time.
All right, great, thanks.
Take care.
Okay.
$10 for persistence, Mark Mack.
Seriously, that was very, very good.
You want to hear something really weird?
Hello,
I have
Doug?
no connect and
Hey,
sell.
is it Doug Wetzel? Hey, Doug, you're speaking with Shane. Look, I'm calling you from London, and this is a cold call. So if you want to hang up, I completely get it. But if you got a moment, I'll tell you why I'm calling. It's a cold call. Probably your favorite thing of the day. Are you still at sign up for? You guys were acquired by Cvent. You sold the company. Did you get good rewards? So now I'm guessing you're sitting in Hawaii in a tiki hut on the beach, sipping cocktails. Good stuff. Well, look, I won't encroach any more of your day. But before you go, if it's all right with you, I'd love to speak to the right person that can help me for demand generation. I know that that's probably an element of your world that you used to be involved in. Do you know who took that up at Cvent now that you're sitting in your palm tree beach house? Oh, wow.
Something's totally wrong here.
No worries. Well, look, Doug, thank you so much. I hope. No worries. Well, look, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch up with you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye. All right. They sold the company and he left 5 years ago. So what the fuck is going on with this data right now?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. You guys said it earlier. Data is your list is your strategy. Your list is king. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Good salespeople, like I just did. I just pivoted away from. Like I just happen to have multiple clients, right? So, and digital marketing works for any industry. So I always bring that up if I'm at a loss. But I did do that thing, right, where I said, hey, well, what is your problem? Like, what can I help you with?
Yeah, you asked it straight out, which I kind of like, to be honest with you.
Mark's really good. Well, one thing I've been learning from Mark is like there's an element of cold calling and scripted messaging and handling objections and rebuttals and everything, but Mark seems to be able to go outside of that with a lot more. Like he's able to expand outside of your regular rebuttal with 3 or 4 extra conversations, 3 or 4 extra things.
Log in. Please enter your agent number followed by the pound key.
Sorry.
Please enter your password followed.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you guys this. I think one of the things, if this is helpful to you, that's been helpful to me is it's just calmness.
Yeah.
It's just this right here. I don't get rattled. Right?
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, don't get rattled. Like, there's nothing to get rattled about. If somebody says they're not interested, who cares? All right, great. Why not? Again, it's timing and relevance. Now, relevance means they may not be the right person, right? Are you talking to me, Antoine?
Oh no, it's a shame.
Yeah. Okay. So it's timing and relevance, right? So if you're talking to somebody and you feel like you're not resonating for some reason, yet it's the right title or it's the right company or whatever, you have to make an assumption as soon as possible that maybe you're not talking to the right guy. That's why I prefer to confirm who I'm talking to and what their role is minute one, so I don't waste my time. Or I immediately get the referral, Mm-hmm. So I think that's been very strategic for me. So strategies is definitely how you utilize the sheet, the list. Because if you do have a wrong list, then you'll know right away. Because all of a sudden I keep confirming this isn't the right people. This isn't the right people. This isn't the right people. Mm-hmm. And so you switch the list, something like that. But I like to do that up front. I like to confirm who I'm talking to, confirm what their role is, and then go for it. Because then I'm not wasting my time or my breath.
I do like that approach, and I think that's something that we can probably flirt and play around with. Antoine, I think maybe because we have other ways of calling too, maybe you can jump on the other tool and you can be getting on this too. So I don't know if we want to do another session.
Well, we're already at an hour and change.
Yeah, we're at an hour. So I'm going to wrap this up and then we're going to get on again. So Mark, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
And until the next one. But hold tight, Asani.